Hello, everybody out there. This is Tammy, Texas Desert Rose, on a Sunday morning. A little bit chilly here, but for the desert anyway, but nice. And I've got a guest today that reached out to me after the interview with Sherry about addiction and chemo and how to survive that. And she and I connected and talked, and she agreed that she would be willing to share her story. And so Miss Kendall is joining us from Ohio. And hello, Kendall.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us. I was giving a little bit of an update about how we started talking and that you have quite a story yourself and that you watched the video that Sherry and I did about her surviving addiction as well as chemotherapy. And it kind of inspired. And I was like, hey, are you willing to tell your story? So, welcome to Texas Desert Rose.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So, what kind of went through your mind or when you watched the recording? What made you decide that you really wanted to tell your story?
Well, I've been in recovery a long time and I've been helping people and trying to help people for quite a while. And my heart bleeds for people who are suffering from addiction. And if I can share my story and help one person, if not more, then I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in recovery.
It's
It's
really
just
beautiful.
it's my passion. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more, if you're willing, about your story. How long have you been clean?
My recovery journey started April 27th, 2004.
2004. Wow.
2004, yes.
Almost
They say I'm
22
an old, they
years.
say, yeah, they say I'm an old timer, but I'm really not.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what they mean by that, but
Yeah.
your energy is definitely young timer.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your story, like where you came from. In this case, I think it helps. I know in program they talk about it being a war story, but I think it'll help because the number one question I was getting from people in general was, okay, are they in recovery? What's their addiction story? What's their addiction story? Ultimately, the question is, can I trust that you've been through stuff too?
So you wanting me to share my story? Is that what you're wanting?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
Well, addiction runs really deep in my family. I mean, it goes back generations. And it's funny because I didn't really realize this, and I was thinking about my past life the other day, and it started when I was really young. I can remember being little, being in my grandma's garage, sniffing gas out of a gas can. And I just sat there and sniffed gasoline. Well, at that point, I didn't know there was anything wrong with it, you know. And then I went to sniffing glue when I was probably 8 years old. Once again, not thinking there was anything wrong with it. Well, growing up, I watched my mother be abused by men, my grandmother, and there was always alcohol involved in every situation. Well, as I started getting older and started dating, I seemed to attract the same men that my grandmother and my mom were dating at the time. So I thought it was okay to be treated the way they were treated, whether it be physical, mental, sexual abuse. I assumed it was okay. So that's the kind of people I attracted and I allowed to come into my life.
You
And
didn't
that
know any
led,
better.
I did not know any better because I thought that's the way life was.
Right. It was
I,
your
I,
normal.
you're right, it was. And I can remember being little watching my mom get beat up by men all the time. And there was nothing that I could do to stop that. But that's the kind of people I attracted in my life. And growing up, you know, um, I let men abuse me, and I just felt like it was my fault because there was something I had to be doing to have let them treat me that way. But going down the road now that I'm sober, I learned that that wasn't right. So I
Also,
ended
the
up getting
power
married.
of no and the power of boundary setting was, I'm sure, a foreign concept too, because you hadn't really
Oh,
seen that. But
absolutely.
I have a question. In
Yes.
sitting in the garage, you said with your grandma, right? I can't imagine there had to be some kind of, like, I wouldn't even think to sniff gas or whatever. Had that been
Yeah.
modeled for you before, or how did you know to
No,
even?
no, I just like the smell of gasoline.
Okay.
So the
So you
gas can
liked the
was out
smell,
there.
so you went and sniffed it because it was a
Sure.
good smell, and then that's when you had your first high.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I cannot believe it. I was probably 4, 5, 6 years old, but at the time I didn't realize it was wrong or I was doing something damaging to myself.
Of course not.
I just liked the way it smelled. And then a few of my friends, we were probably 8, 9 years old, and got some model glue, put in a bag, and we're huffing it. And I still to this day remember trying to run home and thinking the world was blowing up. That's the effect I got from sniffing that model glue.
So hallucinogen.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. And you probably just, do you remember how old you were with the gas sniffing, the fuel sniffing?
I would sort of say 4 or 5 years old. I know
Four or
people probably
five.
find that very hard to believe, but I can still see myself doing that.
I
I still
guarantee
like it. I
you,
still like it today.
sure. I
Yeah.
guarantee you there's several out there who relate to it.
Hmm.
Some that, there's always going to be people who judge anything. It doesn't matter
Sure.
what you put on here. You're going to have judgment, but it also lets them see the other side of it. And to judge a 4 or 5 year old, let them.
Yeah. Yeah. I really don't even know if anybody knew I was out there doing that,
Right, right.
but I was.
Well, they were distracted with what they were walking through as well.
Sure.
And your little brain was, I don't think you realized it at the time, but it was
No.
seeking relief. And here's the irony from the counseling perspective. When you first use, I know you've probably heard this, your emotional maturity in some ways stops at that age. The tendency to self-blame is a 4 or 5 year old emotional reaction.
Sure.
So as you got older and attracting the abuse without realizing it, not knowing you could say no, as well as self-blaming, that's all 4 or 5 year old emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to stop you. Go ahead.
Yes. No, you're fine. Absolutely fine. Well, my journey, once I got in junior high and high school, that's what we did. We would get high, we'd go to football games, we'd drink, and once again, that was okay. Because see, people in my family are addicted, and we use together. And at the time, I didn't see anything. And you know what? I still don't see where it was a problem. I mean, I liked partying with my parents. I mean, we were functioning addicts, but my mom was young with 2 kids, and growing up, that's what she did. So that's what we did. And I still don't have any regrets.
Togetherness.
I don't have any regrets doing that with my family.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, I still went to school. I graduated. That was just what we did on weekends. We got together and we partied and life went on, you know?
Did you find that there was a grief process whenever that ended?
It never ended, really.
Once you got in recovery?
Yeah. But,
So
I
that,
got married and had a couple kids, and my husband was a drinker, and I was a drinker too, but I didn't drink all the time. I would just drink on weekends. Well, I was miserable. I was a business owner. I had my own hair salon.
okay.
I had my Harleys, my hot rods. I had everything I needed, or I wouldn't say needed. I wanted. And
Right.
the verbal abuse got really bad. So I would start drinking, and then I would be oh my gosh, I'd be in a blackout drunk. I can remember years ago we had a party at our house, and I pulled out a 357.
Ooh.
on a crowd of people in my front yard, and thank God someone stopped me. I had no idea. I didn't remember that.
For those who don't know, 357 is because we have viewers from all over.
Yeah,
It's actually a pretty powerful pistol,
yeah.
pretty powerful. It would have
I
done
had
some
no I
serious damage.
I had no idea till the next day.
Wow, it
It
scared
was
you.
Yeah, my life could be so different today. I could be in prison right now, but thank God somebody saw my actions and stopped me from what I was about to do. I had a lot of blackout drinking days, and I can remember waking up the next day being real nervous and scared. What did I do? Or what did I say? Or,
Hmm.
and it really brought a lot of anxiety to me. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It really is the hands of fate. Um,
Oh my
Not to
gosh.
mention the grief you would have if you had ended somebody's life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to
So,
get emotional at times, but it was a very scary time in my life.
understandably so.
Yeah.
Understandably so. I would expect you to, you know? So, how did you meet your husband?
I went to high school with my first husband,
Okay.
and we just started hanging out, and we got married, had a couple kids, and we started drinking on weekends. He drank every day, but we I drank on weekends with him. Then we started getting into cocaine,
Hmm.
and the addiction was getting bad, and he would verbally abuse me a lot and mentally abuse me, and I think that's so much worse than physical abuse. Because, like once you said, once you start using, your mind usually stops about that age. And I let this go on for years. And I was miserable, but I didn't know how to leave. I couldn't leave. I couldn't financially support myself or my kids. So, I'd get up and I'd go to my hair salon and do my thing. And the drinking got so bad, I got to where I was having my clients bring me alcohol to the hair salon.
Just
And
to
then my
get through the
husband,
day.
yeah. And then my husband would bring cocaine up to the hair salon. So I'd be, drinking and drugging, doing people's hair. That's crazy.
It's definitely not unheard of.
Right.
A little bit of an update for those who don't know that addiction is often progressive. In fact, I would say it always is.
Yep.
And so it sounds like your quote unquote gateway was, even though it's not the first one you used, your gateway was kind of alcohol, but that
It
led to
was,
more
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I
intense
dabbled
stuff.
in other drugs growing up,
Yeah,
acid, mushrooms, basically whatever I can get my hands on at that point.
to escape reality.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want
And
to
it's,
live my life like that. But like I said, I had no way out.
and
So I
that's
just,
really important to bring out here is that I think the grief and the forgiveness is really about forgiving self for what you didn't know.
yeah.
And I happen to have a belief, I don't know if you would agree with this, and please feel free to disagree, that we do come to this earth with a certain pathway, zigzags, but it's to learn, our souls to
Oh,
learn.
sure.
So you weren't supposed to know these things until you experience what you experienced.
And I believe today that, I had to go through all this to get to where I am today.
Yes.
I had to go through all the grief and the pain and the drinking and the drugging just to get to where I am now. You know,
So, not trying to take your inventory or anything, but
you're okay.
how many marriages, um, biggest regrets, I guess, and then I promise we'll get lighter in the interview.
It's okay. I've been married 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 times. The first marriage, um, I ended up drinking myself almost to death. I did move out and my kids were going back and forth to him and I, but my drinking was so bad that I was having seizures, grand mal seizures. And yeah, that was caused either too much alcohol or withdrawal from alcohol. I can remember having it at the grocery store. I can remember driving my car up to get another bottle of vodka, getting pulled over by the police, and I could feel the seizure coming on. So I remember
Grandma.
having a seizure when I got pulled over, you know, and we didn't know it was related to alcohol at the time.
Yeah.
We thought I was having seizure disorder, but it was all because of my addiction. I had him in my hair
Grandma.
salon.
Say that last part again.
I said I was actually having him in my hair salon also.
I would imagine the unpredictability of it. So if you overdrank, then you had them, and if you tried to quit, you had them. And
Yeah,
that's why, for those of you who don't know, trying to come off of alcohol after that level of use for a while, it is very dangerous to your health.
abs absolutely.
And the grand mal seizures
Yeah,
can they can take you out, do irreparable damage, all of that. So
I
just what you've said so
experienced
far, you're a miracle.
I experienced a lot of the grandma seizures. And moving forward, I got pulled over for a DUI. I've never been in trouble. I've never been in jail. Got pulled over for my DUI. I didn't go to court. At this point, I had to drink or I was going to have another seizure. So I ended up going to court and I had been drinking when I went to court. And the judge who gave me the breathalyzer in court sent me right to jail. I was blindsided. I disrespected her in her courtroom. And at the time, I didn't realize that that's what I was doing to her, but
Well, also from this side of it, meaning my office has worked a lot of probation and parole. Most will show up having used, in case that's their
yes.
last chance.
Well, absolutely.
And
But like I
so,
said, I didn't want to have a seizure. So, of course, I drank before I went to court. And there's another part of this story, and it's almost like a rewarding story. If I can finish that, and then we can go to something else real quick.
yeah.
Um, I was sentenced to 6 months in jail, 2 years probation, lost my license. I was going through a divorce, and I lost my children. Basically, I mean, it stems from me being an alcoholic.
Wow.
I was a great mom. I was a
You
business
are a great
owner.
mom.
I was a good wife, but my addiction just got out of control, and I went straight to jail. And I will never forgive. I guess I have to forgive. I'll never forget losing my children. I didn't deserve that. I didn't
I'm
deserve
glad
that
you
at
say
all.
that. I'm glad you say that because the alcoholics that I know feel things so, so deeply. Like there's a lot of pain inside of, I would say, every one of them
Yeah.
in my experience.
I never, like I said, never been in trouble. I've never did anything wrong in my eyes, not enough to where I was going to lose my children. And people will say, well, you must be a bad mom to lose your kids. No, I had a husband who was very abusive and would lie to the courts about me. And losing my kids was the worst thing I've ever been through.
I believe that.
I never got him back on paper, but I got him back in my heart. And we got a great relationship today, and but that's something that I don't know that I'll ever recover from losing them. And it's been 22 years ago.
The pain, I
Yeah,
think the pain is what drives you to help so many people, which we'll get
it
into.
is because I don't want to see anybody go through what I went through,
Yeah.
you know. But the lighter part of the story is once I went through everything I had to go through, um, that judge ended up passing away. And it was a
Oh,
female, and she reminds me of Judge Judy so much.
ooh,
I love me some Judge Judy.
yep.
So I can remember writing her a letter telling her I wasn't an alcoholic anymore. And she wrote back in the parentheses, "You will always be an alcoholic." And I was like really mad about that, but she's right. But when this judge passed away, I got the honor of doing her hair for her funeral
Oh my gosh. Whew.
because I'm a hairdresser and I do people who have crossed over. I love doing their hair. To me, it's just very respectful to be able to be a part of that journey for them. But I was able to do her hair for her and tell her family the story and what she did for me and how she helped me help myself.
There's
That
so
was
many
just
ways you could have seen that,
amazing.
Kendall, and it says a lot about you that you saw that is her helping. Because you know, many people would see that differently. And
Sure.
you getting to do her hair and doing that last respect is the biggest honor.
Yes. I have pictures of her and I when I reopened I lost my hair salon, so when I got out of treatment and got back on my feet, I opened a bigger and better one. And I invited her to my opening and she came to my 1 year sobriety. Oh, I got chills.
That's
Me,
huge.
yeah. So she definitely came to my 1 year token.
The most powerful one. Well,
Loved it.
second most powerful one.
I
Wow.
hated her what I was going through. I didn't like her and I never wanted to see her again. But once I started getting clean and sober, I realized my part in what I did was wrong and disrespecting her. And I just kept reaching out to her, appreciating her, and really loving the fact that she was helping me help myself. And to come to my 1 year sobriety token meeting was just incredible.
It really, that's a big honor.
Yeah.
I will, for those listening who I've had family members reach out and say, I don't know how to help my kid. They're addicted to this or that. I don't know what to do. This is a common story. I think Sherry's was similar too, in that now she's in the role of the one who gets hated on by those, who are trying to get clean. And she
Yes.
knows what it's like, in your story. But those out there, when you have to toe the hard line, when you have to set those boundaries, it's so important to be willing to be hated in the moment in order to possibly, it's up to them, but to possibly get the benefit and the beauty later.
Right. I believe that.
That's that's something. Wow. It's a beautiful story. That's really
I love that story.
ah,
Yeah. Now I met my second husband in recovery, and my family was going through a very hard time at that point. My mom was in addiction, and my mom was trying to get better. And my mom, I think all the years of abuse that she went through took a toll on her. She was a professional massage therapist, had her own place. She had another child when I was 20. My brother was born, and my stepdad just treated her really bad. And my mom got to the point where she wasn't drinking alcohol anymore, but she was going to doctors and getting medications. And
not more addictive. Yeah.
long story short, my mom attempted suicide 3 times prior to succeeding the fourth time. And I can remember going down the basement after she slit her wrists and she laid there for 4 hours bleeding out. And she didn't pass away at that point. And I remember her going to the hospital and I went down to that basement and I was cleaning up her blood that was all over the floor. And I think I was in shock because I felt like I just had to do that. And I don't know why. And
Part of your healing,
yeah,
the beginnings of it anyway.
I mean, that was so traumatizing. But instead of going out and using over that, I ended up going to a meeting and just sharing with everybody what had just happened, and the people in recovery were just so,
Huge.
oh, they were wonderful. They were just so nurturing and loving and caring. And they really helped me through that hard part of my life, and
That was
I didn't use
such
over
a
that.
huge test.
Oh gosh.
How long ago, Kendall?
About 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I feel like God puts things in our lives for a reason. I think He puts obstacles in front of us to see what we're going to do. And that's another really hard thing that I went through. And for me not to use over that was definitely huge.
I can't even say it was another hard thing. I think that was, I'm so grateful that you had, what, about 5 or 6 years of clean time by
Yeah.
that point.
Hmm.
because it would be really, really difficult to walk into that meeting instead of going to use at that point,
I definitely thought about it, but
for sure.
you know, and I think I ended up marrying this man. He was in recovery, and I think it was just because I just felt like I needed somebody in my life at that point, and obviously that didn't work out. So he was there when I needed to get through what I had to get through,
The
and I was
support.
grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, in some ways, that was improved over the first one. You know, they say you learn something from each one, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So, marriage or not marriage, connections, romantic relationship or not, just connections. You learn something from everybody that you encounter.
Absolutely.
So,
Boy, did I learn. I learned some things that, whew,
I think from some of the things you've described, like myself, you have to touch the burner quite a few times to, and I'm one of those. I think many of us are.
right.
Um, how are your children?
Well, I have five.
Okay.
My oldest is 40, and I have twin girls that are 11.
Wow.
So my kids are all great. One of my kids does was in active addiction, and as a parent, watching your kids suffer through addiction, you want to do everything for them. You want to enable them, you want to give them, you want to help them. But I know there's only so much I could do, but I had to step back and let him
Hardest thing
fall.
ever.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I thought even this past year, I thought I was going to lose him. I did because he was so depressed and drinking, and I thought he was going to commit suicide. And the the whole story just kept going through my head again, and I envisioned the whole process happening. And thank goodness he pulled himself out of it. But to have to step back to watch somebody hit their bottom is so hard without enabling.
After the trauma of finding your mom.
Oh gosh,
And
yeah,
that was the fourth time. So you had been through it with
yeah,
her. And
fourth
so
times.
all of this definitely qualifies under the CPTSD for sure with
Yeah.
what you walked through. Often people use, I know you know this, I'm saying it for the audience, but often people use in order to manage depression, anxiety, all the above, and all the traumas, and to just quit without support,
Mm,
and without replacing with healthier options, which feel pretty thankless in the beginning, it is definitely a setup for sabotage
absolutely.
and white knuckling it.
Yeah.
It's just not the way. Um, so my guess is there's a long history. I don't know if you know this or not. There's probably a long history of depression, anxiety in the lineage, and kind of going to substances in order to manage that. And so I say that to ask you, you now been in April will be 22 years.
Yeah.
Miraculous.
I
Miraculous.
know. Hard to
Like,
believe.
what do you do? Tell me your prescription to those who are out there listening who have a kiddo, a partner themselves who are struggling. What do you do now that helps get you through?
Well, the only thing I can do, the only thing I have done, I can remember being married to my first husband, and after I got out of treatment, I wanted him to get better. I did not want to be divorced. I did not want to lose my husband. I did not want to lose my kids. And this is the wrong thing to do, but
Well, you'd
because I
been through the
wanted,
worst. You didn't want to redo.
I know, I did not, I didn't want to lose him. And every time I knew he was getting in that car drinking and driving, I'd call the cops on him. I just tried to force him into recovery because I wanted him to have what I had. And after years of that, it never happened. It never worked. He didn't want it. So I had to let that
Really.
go. And to watch
Very
my
difficult.
son go through it, all I can do is make suggestions to him, and it's up to him what he does, what he chooses to do.
How do you stay in recovery? I mean, how do you keep from walking back out?
Well, I am definitely very busy. I had my twin girls when I was 47.
Wow.
Yeah, I tell people in recovery, don't do what I do. I met my husband in recovery and we had kids when I was 47, but
Well, and
I
your
go to
mom had a
church.
child late in life as well, no?
Exactly. My son was 20 when his sisters were born. I know, it's just a Dr. Phil story altogether. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
With
I
a
used
lot
to
happier ending.
oh yeah, I used to go into the jails and it's called a Greenleaf program where I would mentor the women in the jails. And I really liked that. And then I'd go to my alumni meetings and I would attend probably 4 or 5 meetings a week, recovery
What's an
meetings,
alumni meeting?
alumni meetings where I graduated from the treatment facility. And
Got
I would
it.
go back and talk to the women who were just getting into treatment.
Sharing your story.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'd pick them up and take them to meetings as well. But
Wow. That's beautiful.
I actually had a really great opportunity. I'm a sober transporter now, which means if someone needs to get to treatment and they don't have a way to get there, I fly or drive with them and get them to treatment. I stay with them till they get to that front door. So I'm pretty
Because that
much
is the
involved
most
in,
difficult walk, I would imagine.
yes,
Tell
it
me
is.
your understanding, but very
Yeah,
difficult to go into treatment.
it is. It really is. When I knock on that door and get them in my car, usually they don't want to go, and I don't force them to go. It's the journey's up to them. I let them choose their path. I'm just there to help. I'm a sober coach and I'm a sober companion as well, and a peer supporter. I keep myself busy by taking a lot of classes online, a lot of schooling.
Yeah.
So I just keep myself in recovery as much as I can. I try to learn as much as I can
Well, I
about
think
addiction and
the
stuff.
helping another addict who's struggling is a huge part of that process. Huge.
It is. We have to give back what was given to us. And it's so sad because there's so many times where they either don't get it, don't want it, they walk away. I just lost a girlfriend probably 3 weeks ago to alcoholism.
Oh, I'm
And I
sorry.
watched her family enable her, and it was so hard for me to go to that funeral because my girlfriend is in there cremated in a funeral home. Here's the family members who enabled her, and I'm sitting there looking at a parking lot at a funeral home full of cars. This is what addiction did. It,
Can you explain a little bit more for those who don't get that concept of enabling and maybe they're doing it and don't realize it? Like what, you don't have to blow their story out, but just examples of the
well, an
enabling that you
example
see.
is, say a friend of mine was hurting real bad and needed pain meds, somebody would go out and get them for them, or here, I'm going to go buy you alcohol, or, just to me, it's like you're helping them kill themselves slowly. It's,
Anytime you're cushioning the blow from the consequences. So if you're calling
yes,
in to work for them, if you're calling the
yeah,
school for them, your intentions are good, but the outcome. I heard a saying one
right,
time from a LCDC chemical dependency counselor, a friend of mine, who said you can choose your choices, but you can't choose the consequences. Those consequences are what going are hopefully get the addict on the road to feeling the need to do something different with their life. What you're sharing,
right.
it was your consequences that got your attention.
Absolutely, it was. Had I not gone through, like I said, what I went through, I would never be where I'm at today.
No.
I had to experience those consequences in order to figure out, do I want to stay an addict and alcoholic, or do I want to move forward with my life and get better and help others?
So the emotion and the grief that comes up when you talk about losing your children, how painful it was. Thank God. Thank God it happened. Thank God, somebody stopped you from
Right.
pulling out that 357.
Oh my gosh.
but that got your attention.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think if there's no consequences, I don't think there's ever going to be a new path. I
Nope.
think the people have to feel the pain. There's nothing else I can do. What do I do? Well, maybe I should go to treatment and get some help. They got to hit their bottom.
Yeah.
And I definitely hit mine, and I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to go to treatment.
Have you seen that movie? So it's older now, Sandra Bullock, 28 Days.
Absolutely.
It is really well done. For anybody who hasn't seen it, I recommend it. And I recommend you watch it again because it really does a pretty good job of painting the denial process, the
Hmm.
anger at walking in, incredible anger at walking back in, if it,
Yeah, it's a really good show. I watch the interventions, and I'm actually an
Mhm.
interventionist too. I haven't done many, but I really
It's
that's just
tough.
my passion. I'll take and do anything I can do to help somebody.
For those of you who don't know, intervention is when family members, friends, people closest to the addict, they gather and it's not just something where you go, you've got to go get help or else. Like it's usually, if done right, in my opinion, it is this is what we need from you. This is how it's affected me and my relationship with you. It's very personalized, each person, and they go straight to treatment from that meeting. And if they don't
Yes,
go, all ties are cut. So it's
yes,
really,
absolutely.
they even say it's better not to do one if you're not going to follow through. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Kendall.
Oh, I've still done them, and like I said, if it falls apart, then I've done my part.
Yeah. Well, you
You
can't
know,
control all that, but I'm just saying
no,
to the families, that it's better. You can't just have it be a get together. It's a serious process.
exactly. Everybody has to be on the same page. Every family member, everybody who's there has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't envy that. I myself made I've shared on here before, the call that put my brother in prison for the first time. His is addiction, addiction,
Mm,
addiction. And it's been a difficult road for him, and he harbored a lot of resentment for that phone call. And when in recovery, he acknowledges that I didn't have a choice, but it's been a long road.
yeah.
It keeps going.
And
So,
you just feel like you're doing the right thing. I just had a friend of mine call me and say, Kendall, what should I do? My brother has not gone to probation. He's supposed to check in. I know he's using. What do you do? I said, what does your heart tell you to do? He don't want treatment. He's not an alcoholic, but he's living with a boss who does use, so he's using.
yeah.
I just told her to pray about it and do what she feels right. And if he gets mad, then hopefully someday he'll get over that.
Well, and when it comes to addiction, this is my hardcore opinion, okay? When it comes to
Sure.
addiction, you can't stay the good guy.
No,
You can't save them. You can't stay the good guy unless they're willing to walk in on their own. There's going to be some bad guy moments. And if you're lucky, not for the rest of their life. But my motivation was to save him. And the only way that was going to happen was for him not to be in control of his own life because he
I
was going
understand.
down. So I was saving myself from grief, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
and still grief involved. But anyway, it's a hard road. It is a hard, hard road, as you
it
well
is.
know. Um, so you help the addict who's still out there. You assist families. Um, what about meetings and stuff?
I don't go
Sponsorship.
to a lot of I don't go to a lot of meetings anymore because I usually do a lot of them online. So personally, I don't go to a lot of them, and I miss them. But
Yeah,
I
the
I spend
connection.
my time. Yeah, I spend my time usually on a lot of websites, like on Facebook, helping families that have children that are addicted, or family members or their spouses are addicted. I do a lot of that.
Well, it's a constant reminder to you of where
Mhm.
you came from.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the biggest thing, and I'm sure you have this, if you're not able to go to a lot of meetings, is having that support for yourself in some place.
There's a
Maybe.
lot of support online.
I love that.
There's a-
That's
yeah,
definitely
there's
something different these days.
yeah, it is. But I do. I'd rather do it in person. But with having twins, the ages that they are right now, I'm pretty busy with them. But so I'm always online every night trying to help people with addiction.
So, what are the ongoing, definitely your life is in such a lot better place on its worst days. It's not as bad as the best days while you were using. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What are still ongoing, I guess, consequences of all of that, if any?
So what do you mean?
Well, that's a good sign that there probably isn't any, but usually there's always like some leftover, like, well, I lost some relationships that I'd like to get back, or anything like that, any
I don't
consequences at
have
all.
that problem. I don't want none of those relationships back.
Good,
But
good
like you
problem.
said, we learn a little bit with everything we go through. We do take something away from that.
Yeah.
Um,
And no physical consequences or anything that you're willing to share anyway.
I mean, my relationship with my husband today, we've been together 12 years, and it's really
That's
we
awesome.
both yeah, we both worked. I work 12-step program, AA, NA. He's worked his program. We learned so much about ourselves, about our character defects, and how to better ourselves. And I'll tell you what, being in recovery and going through the step works and having somebody help you, the sponsorship, has gotten me where I am today. I mean, I don't need to argue with my husband. I don't need to call names or throw things. And there's a lot of things that I'm not willing to put up with in my recovery that I did in my addiction, like pornography, the drug abuse, the physical and mental abuse. That's not acceptable today in my life.
I like
And
that.
we just have an amazing relationship. I mean, it is just unbelievable.
He holds himself accountable too, it sounds like.
Yeah, and if we do argue, we make up. We're like, I'm sorry. It's just a whole different world. Being
Accountability.
sober and working the steps and being in a program, it's just a totally different lifestyle.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful lifestyle, and I
I
want
love
that
that.
for so many. I want that for so many. I don't want to see people in abusive relationships. I don't want to see people hurting. I want to see them get to the solution.
And
You
that,
know,
and I think you're a huge motivation of you doing this, as you said in the beginning, is to let people know that it is possible.
yeah, they're not alone. There's so much help out there if they want it. And I feel like my life was spared for a reason, and I think it's to help people in addiction.
Oh, no
That's
doubt.
that's what I truly believe.
No
I mean,
doubt about that.
I live recovery. I wear t-shirts. I have writing on my car, sober escort, coach. I mean, please let me help you. That's what I want in life. I want to help people 'cause someone helped me,
That is
you
so
know?
beautiful.
Yeah.
So what your suggestions to the addict who's active in their addiction right now? Go online and look up AANA, what have you.
Pick up the phone, call a hotline, you know?
Do you know
Look
that
up
number off
meet
the top of your?
the 988.
Oh,
So you're talking about the
that
suicide
okay. Yeah,
hotline.
yeah.
Yes.
988. That's good. They need to know that.
But there is all kinds of recovery hotlines, addictions. The people on the other end will help find you places, meetings. You can look up AA meetings online and NA meetings and cocaine meetings, and they're just all over the place out there. You can do them online and turn your camera off and just listen.
I'm wondering if it's a good idea. Family members or spouses, can they call the 988 for themselves? Or is that mainly
Um,
for addiction?
all the 988, that's a suicide hotline.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
I'm wondering is, okay, so Googling the 988 is for suicide risk. Okay.
hmm But there's
Um,
Al-Anon meetings for family members who are needing help for themselves, for their family members who are in addiction.
or Coda or
Yes.
Narnon, all of those.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Because
there's
like you said,
lots.
it's a family disease. It affects everybody surrounding the addict.
Well, and I found that there were 12-step programs and meetings overseas, every country.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's when I get online on Facebook and I hook up with people all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to have just knowing that it's everywhere.
So do you feel like if you could have changed anything, you would have
I mean,
in your life,
things that
in your
happened in
life,
my addiction or my past, or
in your life?
well, honestly, like I said, I had to go through what I went through to get to where I am, and losing my kids was the worst thing ever. I mean, the absolute, how could you do that to me? You know, I that's just something I will never, like I said, recover from. I choose not to dwell on it because I know today I got in my life every day, but that was really hard going
Okay.
through that.
Well, it doesn't mean you would want to go through it again.
Not at
We
all.
can still appreciate that, and that just may not be where you're at. Appreciate it happening and what the purpose was, but
Yeah.
that might be a difficult
hmm
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
try to help, especially women. Women help women, men help men normally, but I don't want to see any women go through that or any man go through losing their children because I know what the pain is just horrible. So if I can help them every step of the way, not for that to happen, I will do whatever it takes to help them. You know,
With compassion,
yeah, it's
non-judgment, which is
been
beautiful.
yeah, it's been a journey. It's got its ups and downs. It's got its ups and downs, but I didn't have to use at all. Over anything I've been through because the people in the meetings and recovery are just so powerful and so helpful, and they just want to be there for you.
You have a compassionate heart, Kendall.
I do. Thank you.
For that, I appreciate because, as you very well know, the one constant that someone who's not in addiction finds, but especially if they are, is judgment.
hmm
And they don't get that with you. So,
Yeah, we're not here to judge people.
no truer
No,
words. No
no,
true.
not at all.
So, I know I wouldn't want you to share your phone number on here, but are you okay with people reaching out to your email?
Absolutely.
Um,
I don't mind sharing my phone number.
Probably, probably gonna have them reach out
Yeah,
to you via email because everybody's got
that's
that.
fine.
I don't
That's
want you
fine.
inundated. So, um, what is your email address?
It's capital Kendal 937 at yahoo.com.
937 at yahoo.com. So it's
Mm-hmm.
Kendal 937 at Gmail, Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Yeah, I just messed that up. Yahoo.com. Okay.
Correct.
And of
Correct.
course, you guys, you can always message me at Texas Desert Rose Facebook page. Also, Texas Desert Rose 1111 at gmail.com. YouTube message, you name it, and I will make sure that Kendall gets the message. So, Kendall, forever grateful for you sharing your story. The vulnerability is not easy. And I know you've had a lot of history with sharing your story for others, and thank you for doing it on a large scale today.
Oh, I appreciate it. I really do.
Blessings to you, and
Thank you.
thank you, everybody. Like, subscribe, please share. Let's get the word out there for those who are out there in the struggle, okay? Thank you so much. Blessings to you all.
Thank you.